Hi, we're out on the range today, so please bear with gunfire you hear in the background. It's December, so in a couple of weeks the crew and I will be going on our annual jackrabbit hunt. A while ago I did a presentation on my top 5 guns for rabbit hunting, but since then a lot of people have asked about handgun hunting. Now I have done some deer hunting with handguns, and yes, I have shot a deer with this revolver, but that's a topic for another time. Today I want to talk about my top 5 handguns for rabbit hunting. Now this comes with a couple of disclaimers. One is that when you say rabbit hunting, there's a lot of different connotations. Rabbits are hunted in a lot of different ways and in a lot of different environments. What I'm talking about is walking through the rolling hills of sagebrush hunting jackrabbits. Now, we can sometimes come across a ridge and you look out and see a wide flat spot where shots of 100 meters or more are possible. But the more common shot will be as the rabbits run out of the bushes anywhere from 5 to 50 meters away. Also, nothing I say today should be taken as a recommendation. These are just my 5 favorite handguns for rabbit hunting. So with that, let me show you number 1 on my list. This is a Ruger Single 6, very similar to a Blackhawk but in .22 caliber, and mine has a 9-inch barrel and adjustable sights. Also, very typically these come with 2 cylinders, .22 long rifle and .22 Winchester Magnum rimfire. The big sights and the long barrel help me shoot this one fairly accurately. But there's a downside to revolvers like this. Let me show you what I mean. Now I'll shoot the target on your left with .22 long rifle. Change cylinders, shoot the target on your right with the .22 Magnum. And I'll shoot from 20 yards. And let's compare the results. Now I sighted this in with the .22 long rifle, and that's the result. And you can see that the .22 Magnum, that group is about 2.5 inches lower for the center of the group. And that might not seem like a lot of difference, but if I were trying to shoot a rabbit at 50 yards, that could be enough to make the difference between hitting it or not. Now, the difference between these is really on an individual handgun basis. One of my crew has one of these that when we do this drill, the difference between the .22 long rifle and Magnum is maybe 1/4 inch. So unless he's trying to shoot bottle caps at 50 yards, it won't really make any difference. But other revolvers, the difference is significantly more than this. And so what you have to do is take yours out, do this drill, and see the difference. But what I have to do is ahead of time decide which ammunition I'm going to use, sight it in with that, and then stick with that for the duration of the hunt. And what I'm going to use for the upcoming hunt will be the .22 long rifle. Now the Single 6 is accurate, but it is a single-action revolver. And under conditions where the rabbits will likely be running and where the temperature on the Fahrenheit scale will be measured in single digits and I'll probably be wearing gloves, an auto-loading pistol with additional magazines can be a big advantage. So one of my favorites is this Ruger Mark III caliber .22 long rifle. Not bad at all. Next on my list is the Smith & Wesson M&P 22, caliber .22 long rifle with a 10-shot magazine. This has some advantages like fully adjustable sights, and except for being light, it's very similar to M&Ps and calibers like 9mm and .40 Smith & Wesson, so it can be a really good training aid. Let's shoot this from 20 yards. As good a group as with the Security 6? No, but it was quite a bit faster. Now, when I did my top 5 guns for rabbit hunting, the subject came up whether or not we eat the jackrabbits, and I said I had eaten jackrabbit on a few occasions, but typically we don't. A lot of people sent me a bunch of hate mail about how terrible that was that we don't eat the jackrabbits. Well, in the interest of decorum and, for lack of a better term, to not gross out the audience, I didn't go into detail about why we typically don't eat them. And that's because they're often afflicted with various vermin and diseases and parasites. And I didn't want to go on about the fly larvae as big as my thumb under the hide of some of the jackrabbits we shoot. You can see why I might not want to mention that. So the real thing is, yes, we eat them when we can, but when we can is not all that often. Now, that having been said, jackrabbits are a good training aid for other activities like deer hunting. And when I do a presentation on my top 5 handguns for deer hunting, this one will make an appearance there too. And this is my Colt government model in caliber .38 super automatic. Very effective for jackrabbits and effective for deer too. Well, so far this has been fun, but I have to end this on a serious note. And you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again. In any kind of hunting, obviously safety is very important. But in jackrabbit hunting, safety rules like be sure of your target and what's beyond it become of extreme importance because jackrabbits are highly mobile and unpredictable, and what's behind them can change from second to second. And you've got to be aware of where they're going, what's behind them, the positions of the people on your left and right, how many shots you fired, when you need to reload, the list goes on. And this has to be constantly going through your mind. And that's very similar to what's going to be going through your mind in a situation where you had to shoot seriously. And right about now is when I like to say, don't try this at home, I'm what you call a professional. Well, if you're a professional, military personnel, armored car driver, the police, then you should be out there hunting jackrabbits with your professional handgun. Now, I'm retired, of course, but for me, that's a Beretta Model 92 FS. And whatever it is for you, that's what you should be hunting rabbits with.